Today we are looking at a discussion that has generated significant attention among Iraqi Dinar followers. The focus is on claims surrounding a broader United States strategy for the Middle East, Iraq's potential role in regional economic development, and speculation that these developments could eventually influence Iraq's monetary reforms and the future of the Iraqi dinar. As always on this channel, our goal is to separate confirmed developments from speculation, analyze the available information carefully, and explain what these discussions could realistically mean for Iraq's economy and for those who closely follow the Iraqi dinar. The report suggests that the current U.S. administration under President Donald Trump is pursuing a broader vision for economic stability and geopolitical cooperation across the Middle East. According to the discussion, Iraq is expected to become an important participant in that regional strategy. It also claims that cooperation between American policymakers and Iraqi officials will be essential if those broader objectives are to be achieved. Before going further, it is important to understand that large geopolitical strategies often involve multiple areas of cooperation, including energy security, infrastructure development, banking modernization, investment reforms, trade expansion, and diplomatic engagement. These initiatives are typically discussed over months or even years and involve numerous government agencies, financial institutions, and international organizations. Because of that, any connection between regional policy and Iraq's currency reforms should be viewed carefully and within the broader context of economic policy, rather than as evidence of an immediate change in exchange rates. One of the key points raised in the discussion is that Iraq may play a larger economic role within the region than many observers previously expected. This idea is not entirely new. Iraq possesses significant natural resources, one of the world's largest proven oil reserves, a strategic geographic location connecting several regional markets, and a young population capable of supporting long-term economic growth if reforms continue successfully. For several years, Iraqi authorities have emphasized economic diversification, reducing dependence on oil revenues, strengthening the private sector, encouraging foreign investment, improving digital banking, and modernizing government financial systems. These reforms have frequently been discussed by Iraqi officials, international financial institutions, and global investors. If Iraq successfully continues these reforms, its importance within regional trade networks could naturally increase. This does not necessarily imply that a currency revaluation is imminent. Rather, it highlights the possibility that Iraq's economic role could gradually expand alongside broader institutional improvements. Another claim receiving attention involves suggestions that monetary reform plans are beginning to take shape through initiatives associated with Iraqi financial leadership. Discussions surrounding banking reform have indeed become more frequent over the past several years. Iraq has worked towards strengthening compliance with international banking standards, enhancing anti-money laundering measures, improving electronic payment systems, and expanding financial inclusion. Modern banking systems are critical for attracting foreign investment, because international businesses generally require transparent financial regulations, reliable payment infrastructure, internationally recognized compliance procedures, and stable monetary policies before making substantial investments. When analysts discuss monetary reform, they are often referring to these structural improvements, rather than simply changes in exchange rates. A stronger banking system can improve investor confidence, increase financial transparency, and create conditions that support long-term economic stability. The discussion also mentions reports that Iraqi citizens could eventually receive additional education regarding exchanging older banknotes for newer currency designs. This topic deserves careful explanation because it is frequently misunderstood within the Iraqi dinar community. Central banks around the world periodically replace banknotes. These replacement programs may introduce enhanced security features, improve durability, reduce counterfeiting risks, or modernize the appearance of the currency. Such programs do not automatically indicate that the currency's international value will increase. There is also another concept known as redenomination. In a redenomination, a country removes zeros from its currency by exchanging existing notes for newly denominated notes at a predetermined conversion ratio. The purchasing power generally remains unchanged, because prices, salaries, bank balances, and financial contracts are adjusted accordingly. Several countries have completed redenomination projects successfully after achieving sustained macroeconomic stability. However, these reforms typically require extensive planning, public education campaigns, updated banking software, coordination with commercial banks, legislative support, and public confidence. Therefore, whenever discussions arise about educating citizens regarding exchanging currency, it is important not to assume that such education automatically confirms any particular exchange rate outcome. Education campaigns are common components of many different monetary modernization programs. Supporters of these theories often argue that a future educational campaign would prepare Iraqi citizens for broader monetary reforms. While that remains one possible interpretation, it should be viewed alongside official announcements from Iraqi authorities rather than replacing them. Central banks typically communicate significant monetary policy decisions through formal statements, official publications, regulatory notices, and coordinated implementation schedules. Investors and observers should therefore continue monitoring official communications, rather than relying exclusively on unofficial reports or anonymous sources. The discussion further suggests that Iraq's currency would need to return to international foreign exchange markets as part of a broader regional economic strategy. This idea has generated considerable interest among dinar followers for many years. Understanding this topic requires distinguishing between different meanings of foreign exchange participation. The Iraqi dinar already has an official exchange rate established by the Central Bank of Iraq. Banks conduct foreign exchange operations under regulatory supervision, and international financial transactions involving Iraq already occur within existing frameworks. However, broader international currency trading, greater market liquidity, expanded correspondent banking relationships, and increased private sector participation depend upon continued financial reforms, investor confidence, regulatory transparency, and macroeconomic stability. Returning to broader international financial integration is therefore a process rather than a single event. Many economists believe that successful financial integration requires several conditions. These include a stable banking sector, sustainable fiscal policies, manageable inflation, effective monetary policy, adequate foreign exchange reserves, improved governance, and confidence from both domestic and international investors. Each of these factors contributes to the credibility of a nation's currency over time. Another important point involves the relationship between politics and economics. Political stability often influences economic confidence, because investors generally prefer predictable policy environments. When governments demonstrate continuity, pass economic legislation, implement reforms consistently, and maintain constructive international relationships, financial markets frequently respond positively. This does not mean that every diplomatic meeting immediately affects currency values. Rather, political cooperation can gradually support an environment where economic reforms become easier to implement. If regional diplomatic initiatives encourage infrastructure investment, energy partnerships, cross-border trade, and financial cooperation, Iraq could potentially benefit from increased economic activity. Such benefits would likely appear gradually through rising investment levels, expanded employment opportunities, stronger banking activity, and improved business confidence, rather than through sudden currency changes alone. It is also useful to consider Iraq's long-term economic objectives. Government officials have repeatedly emphasized reducing dependence on oil revenues while encouraging manufacturing, agriculture, technology, logistics, tourism, and private enterprise. Diversification helps economies become more resilient, because relying heavily on one commodity exposes government revenues to fluctuations in global market prices. A diversified economy generally provides a stronger foundation for long-term currency stability than an economy dependent upon a single export sector. Investment in transportation corridors, electricity infrastructure, digital payment systems, customs modernization, and industrial development can all contribute to sustainable economic growth over many years. As these reforms continue, international investors often monitor indicators such as GDP growth, inflation trends, fiscal deficits, public debt levels, foreign direct investment, banking sector health, and foreign exchange reserves. These measurable economic indicators generally provide more reliable insight into long-term currency fundamentals than speculative rumors alone. Short-term implications for Iraqi dinar followers are therefore relatively straightforward. The discussion reinforces that Iraq remains an important country within regional economic planning and continues pursuing financial modernization. However, it does not independently confirm any immediate change in Iraq's exchange rate policy. Those following the Iraqi dinar should continue paying close attention to official central bank announcements, government policy decisions, parliamentary legislation, banking reforms, and internationally verified economic data. Watching these developments together provides a much more complete understanding than focusing on any single claim. Long-term implications are potentially more significant. If Iraq successfully strengthens its banking sector, attracts additional foreign investment, expands private sector growth, modernizes financial infrastructure, improves governance, and maintains macroeconomic stability, those achievements could gradually strengthen overall confidence in Iraq's economy. Greater economic confidence often supports stronger financial institutions, more efficient capital allocation, increased international business relationships, and broader participation in global markets. These developments typically occur over extended periods rather than overnight. Another important consideration involves public confidence inside Iraq itself. Successful monetary reforms depend not only upon government policy, but also upon public participation. Citizens must trust their banking institutions, understand any new procedures, feel confident depositing money within the financial system, and believe that monetary reforms serve their long-term interests. Public education therefore becomes an important component of financial modernization, regardless of whether a country is introducing new bank notes, expanding digital payments, or implementing broader banking reforms. Building that trust requires transparency, consistent communication, effective regulation, and reliable implementation. International organizations also frequently encourage financial literacy, because informed citizens are generally more willing to participate in modern banking systems. As Iraq continues expanding electronic payment systems and banking accessibility, educational campaigns may naturally become more common. That should be viewed as part of financial modernization, rather than interpreted automatically as evidence supporting one specific currency outcome. Another question often asked by viewers concerns the relationship between foreign investment and currency stability. When international companies invest in infrastructure, manufacturing, telecommunications, energy or logistics, they often create employment, increase production capacity, improve technology transfer, and strengthen tax revenues. These factors can improve economic performance over time. However, investors also evaluate legal protections, regulatory consistency, judicial independence, contract enforcement, and political stability before committing significant capital. Consequently, attracting sustainable foreign investment requires comprehensive institutional improvements, rather than relying upon exchange rate adjustments alone. This broader perspective helps explain why many economists emphasize structural reform. Structural reforms may not generate dramatic headlines every day, but they often produce lasting economic benefits. Modern banking regulations, improved customs administration, digital government services, transparent procurement, efficient taxation, and stronger financial supervision collectively contribute to healthier economic development. These improvements may ultimately influence long-term confidence in Iraq's economy more than any isolated announcement. As viewers evaluate ongoing discussions surrounding the Iraqi dinar, maintaining realistic expectations remains essential. Financial markets respond to verified information, measurable economic performance, official policy decisions, and institutional credibility. Speculation can generate excitement, but long-term economic progress is usually built upon gradual reforms implemented consistently over time. Therefore, while discussions connecting Iraq to broader regional strategies are certainly interesting and worthy of analysis, they should be interpreted alongside official economic developments, rather than viewed as definitive confirmation of future exchange rate changes. Responsible analysis requires acknowledging both opportunities and uncertainties. There is no doubt that Iraq continues working towards strengthening its financial system. There is also evidence that regional cooperation, international partnerships, banking modernization, and economic diversification remain priorities for policymakers. At the same time, specific claims regarding future exchange rates, currency values, or precise timelines require official confirmation before they can be treated as established facts. For Iraqi dinar followers, the most productive approach is to remain informed, evaluate information critically, distinguish verified developments from speculation, and follow credible economic indicators over time. Doing so provides a clearer understanding of Iraq's evolving financial landscape and helps avoid unrealistic expectations that can arise from unverified claims. The Iraqi economy remains an important story to watch because of its significant natural resources, strategic location, ongoing financial reforms, and potential role within broader regional economic cooperation. Every new policy initiative, banking reform, investment agreement, infrastructure project, and diplomatic engagement contributes another piece to the larger economic picture, rather than focusing exclusively on one possible outcome. Observing the full range of economic developments allows viewers to better understand how Iraq's financial future continues to evolve. Thank you for watching today's analysis. If you appreciate responsible, factual, and balanced coverage of Iraqi dinar developments and Iraq's economy, be sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video so you never miss future updates. As always, this content is provided for informational and educational purposes only. It should not be considered financial, investment, or legal advice, and viewers should conduct their own research and consult qualified financial professionals before making any investment decisions.